أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Ramadan Kareem. So I've been thinking this week about writing, and I can't remove the context of Ramadan, which is the month of the Quran, the month the Quran was first revealed. So I'm thinking about reading as well, and how reading and writing kind of interrelate. And I found two notebooks. Well, this is my current notebook that I use most days. This is my very first posh notebook from 2007, a Moleskine that was given to me by my wife. And I was going through it, and I kind of learnt three lessons that I'd like to just talk about now. So the first lesson is that the important really does become unimportant. And the Moleskine is full of stuff that I was occupying my time with. The first page is actually an Economist article talking about the strategy game Go, and then this is the kind of thing that I was like doing, and a meeting somewhere in London. There was a big chandelier, and there was some sort of moderately, what's the word? No, some moderate graphics, visualizing some scientific data. And whilst this stuff felt really important at the time, I was a clinical lecturer. I was trying to get grants and publications and funding and the next job, that kind of thing. I'm not in that world anymore, and I'm much the better for it. And I've written here, I don't like the culture, poorly visualized, conventional, low standard. Anyway, so I'm not in this world, and it feels very far away and almost not trivial, but removed, and that was not a great place to be. So the second lesson, which kind of leads on a bit from that, is that the context really does determine difficulty. So this was a particular way of working. It was teaching hospital, academic, and I wasn't particularly suited to it, and it kind of was leading me away from things that I am very grateful for now, to do with balance and to do with relationships with people and nature. And those things, particularly the aspects of nature, were very, very hard to really feel in that urban, competitive environment. And it's much easier once we made the move, and it's much better. However, there are certain things that do keep cropping up, which kind of brings me on to my third lesson, which is that there are treasures, and the treasures are usually right in front of you. So there's quite a few sketches of various things. So that was my ideal course, something analog bits of paper, something on a phone. That's what phones looked like then. And then that was a presentation, so something in real life, or on a screen at least. And this was like a design for the foyer of a university, with some steps and pigeonholes and a porter's lodge and like seating areas. And there's quite a few sketches in here. And that idea of like visualization and building has really stuck with me. And a couple of other things as well. So one is like, the dashboards. So I came back and drew this in 2019, so 12 years after the book was first started, in response to some of the things that I was writing back then. And then the interest in what my students were like, and not really getting the chance to think about the philosophy. So somewhere in here is a little bit of text around personhood. And whilst there is a bit of philosophy in all the medical education courses that I was doing, I didn't really get to grips with what it meant to be. Because at the end of the day, our product, if you like, of a teacher is a person. The student who can do things. And that idea about what personhood is never really got explored. And I am still thinking about what it means to be a person. And this current book is much more philosophical. It's Midori, so absolutely beautiful paper. And I mean, I've shown this before, but it's much more of a private space, I suppose, which is ironic given I'm sharing it with the world. But it's basically just me to me. And one way I love writing and reading what we've written is that often we're so locked up in ourselves that we don't really see ourselves properly. We don't see the truth of ourselves. And it takes something external to often give us insight. And us writing to ourselves is often a really good tool to put ourselves together as a wider entity than we normally do. And this is why I would encourage writing, not just for you, but for me. And it's a good discipline and a good skill, and it's a gift. Al-Qalam, the pen, and Al-Kitab, the book that we have been given. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.